Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking injuries, but not those that are injured so much, but those that are going to gain opportunity now and fill in for said injured players. So stick with us. We're going to chat about all this and more right after this. Good evening and welcome to Ball Logic. I'm the Horse, and joining me this afternoon, I haven't put him up on screen just yet, but for those that follow the AFL show, you know that the click, the chemistry between myself and this good man is matched via none. It is the great man, Squiddy. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, Horse. Yeah, it's LeBron and Wade-esque is what we provide to the table. That is for absolute certain, Horse. So I thought it's a good time to jump on, seeing as we're a bunch of old bastards that have had our careers derailed by injury.
Yeah.
I think that's a good time for us to jump on here and talk to about the injured players.
Yeah, absolutely. We could go on about how 17 years ago I was dropped from a team and that I should have probably made, and that could have got me to the top, but then the coach didn't like me and whatever else. But I just wasn't good enough. So that's my story for today. But ladies and gentlemen, we're here to talk NBA basketball. Like, subscribe, bell. We call it being the triple banger. But also, if you listen to us on audio, give us that 5-star review. It helps us get into the ears that love a bit of banter along with their NBA fantasy knowledge. Now, also, if you want to hear from us every day and more, some people do, some people don't. Link to our Patreon down below. You'll have us on tap 24/7. And any NBA question, draft boards, all that sort of jazz, it's all found via the link below. Click on it. And for a third of a cup of coffee per week, that's right, you get us 24/7. Articles, draft boards, mock drafts, the whole lot. So, and priority to drafts as well, should you want to enter our Ball Logic drafts. Squid, there's a bit going on, isn't there?
Mate, there's plenty of injuries, unfortunately, from playoffs to regular season that happened last year, the stuff that we don't really want to see ever in any kind of sport. But unfortunately, these are the things that we're going to have to talk about. And it's where we can really find some good sleepers and some good value in drafts.
For sure. And we're going to start with probably the higher or the highest ranking or fantasy ranking player from last year. Unfortunately, didn't Achilles in the playoffs, but that's Jason Tatum, Squid. So we'll start with Tatum himself, and then we're probably going to expand a little bit into the team that is the Boston Celtics. So he played 72 games last year, shot it at 45% from the field, 3.5 threes per game, 34% from three. There's plenty going on. 8.7 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.6 stocks. Clearly a top 10 player in fantasy, Squid. He's out for the year.
Yeah, it's not good at all. That was horrible watching him go down in that series against the Knicks, even though it was already done pretty much for the Celtics. But yeah, you never want to see that. So it seems like he's progressing very nicely. He's back on the court doing shoot-arounds and everything like that. So that's great to see for Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics.
100%. So people at home or people that have been chatting to us a bit via the Twitter sphere or X or whatever it is, Instagram, across all good audio platforms and social media platforms.
Blood.
It's just, well, people are saying Jaylen Brown. So Jaylen Brown's the man that's going to pick up the slack from Jason Tatum. But upon doing a little bit of digging, Squid, Brown's usage was up over 30 usage per game last year as well. So how much more can he actually do with the ball?
In fairness, I actually think he can. Look, Tatum was obviously such a focal point and such a big part, especially late in games, that the ball was always in Tatum's hands in that point. So I think Brown, even though he had a very, very high usage, he's still the main scoring guy for the Celtics. Probably has a lot to work on as well with handle-wise, but he did show better than he did in the 2023 season. So it's definitely going in a positive way. We know he's going to hurt free throw wise, but that's all right. I'd still really value what Brown's scoring is going to be able to entail, because we have seen him around, that 25, 26, 27 mark. That can definitely go up. So finding players that can score that highly is always tough and something that you really want to be able to grab, because in the later rounds, you can't get points. It's almost impossible.
you hit the nail on the head, 76% from the line last year, 46% from the field. So whether you believe it or not, facts state that he was a little bit better than Tatum from the field. But something I want to bring up with you also, Squid, before we move on to our next player, in that it's not just Tatum when we're talking injuries or people that have moved on from the Boston Celtics. So Tatum is not going to play this year. Achilles injuries, that's 12 months.
Yep.
You can't come back too early from an Achilles because the re-aggravation or the re-injury rate of an Achilles is really high. So Boston, they've shown their hand. They've got rid of a lot of their superstar players or players that help them get to the top of the NBA. So this year, definitely a tanking year for the Celtics. But in their top 9 players from last year, Squid, 5 have left. Drew Holiday, gone. 30 minutes a night he was playing. Tatum was playing 36 minutes a night. Kristaps, even though he only played 42 games, he was playing 29 minutes a night. Al Horford, he's gone. Yes, he's old as balls, but 28 minutes a night. There's your 2 centers gone. And then Luke Cornett, who actually did a pretty good job at backup center.
Fantastic.
Played 73 games, 19 minutes a night. He's gone as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on in this Celtics rotation. And now as well, it's really, really hard to see who the starters are. I know that it will be Pritchard, it'll be White, and it'll be Brown locked in for the starting position. But then they could go a very, very different amount of ways with how they're going to line up in the forward and the center slot. It could be Boucher. I don't think so. I think it's Cater going to be in the center position. And then, do they go Sam Hauser for a more 3-point variation? Do they have Luka Garza step in? Do they have Josh Minot, who I don't mind there at all? I think if I lean away, it's going to be Cater and Minot. But I've had Celtics people tell me that they think it's going to be Hauser. Fair enough too. I guess Brown
Boucher
can play. I think he's more of a off the bench role, but also too, it does make sense to why they got him out of Toronto. Maybe they did promise him that starting power forward spot. It works. I don't say a negative towards it if they've got Boucher behind there with, Garza's big frame or even Cater. I think that works as well. But I'm just more interested. Like, they're going to be later round guys and someone that you can take a flyer on. I think it's going to be a bit of a chop and change. Boucher and Minot do have very fantasy-friendly games. Cater to an extent, and Garza's pretty unproven in that sense, but he has had some all right games for the Timberwolves. The guy that I'm most intrigued about at Horse is Peyton Pritchard, though. And that is purely because without Jason Tatum last season, in those 10 games that he did miss, Peyton Pritchard went for 22.5 points, 5 rebounds and 6 assists. So they are numbers that are very, very intriguing. You probably can get him, around the 5th, 6th, 7th round or so. And it's definitely something that could really bolster you if you're able to land Pritchard.
100%. And he's really starting to be drafted a lot higher in mock drafts leading into draft season as well. So it's good shout there by you, my good man.
Are you leaning Chris Boucher as the starting power forward, do you believe?
I don't think so. I think, as you said, he probably comes off the bench. But in saying that, I think he plays starters minutes. I think he gets his 26 to 28 minutes a night.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. And also, too, the other caveat is Anthony Simons is now there, and we know what he provides, his points and threes and some ball handling, stuff all defense. Couldn't find D in a gay brothel, but either way, it's something that he is able, like he does provide a certain thing, and that is points and threes. As we said, points are hard to find. And in those games where it's not Pritchard, I think they'll be more than happy to roll out Anthony Simons, someone you can grab late, and then have a crack at that.
Let's move into the Memphis Grizzlies. So we know that this is Matrix's team, and he's fairly high on him, but it's not just one injury here. It's a collection of injuries here, Squid. So Desmond Bane, the number one player last year, if we're going on statistics wise for the Memphis Grizzlies, he's gone. 32 minutes a night, disappeared. Ja Morant's still there. Jaren Jackson Jr. has got a foot issue and he's not going to be ready for at least a month to start the season. So update your draft boards accordingly, ladies and gentlemen. We've got them right here inside our Patreon, which if you join, they're free for you to view and browse. Santi Aldama may get a bump, but then you got Zach Edey as well, who perhaps won't be ready until Christmas. And then Brandon Clark, he's also out. So what happens here?
It's a bloody tough question. I mean, a lot of people would be drawn to Santi Aldama, but again, we've seen that the Grizzlies have refused to play him at center. So I think we can pretty much ship the idea of that out the window. But again, he could play the 4 until Jaren's back. GG Jackson could probably get some run. They put a lot of time and effort into trying to bolster him up. So we know he's a great scorer. So can definitely try and do something there with GG. And then like the acquisitions they made with Ty Jerome, and he's a backup point guard. So that's one of the only slots that they don't need, really. I think Jalen Wells will play the 2 quite comfortably. I suppose we're going to go with Vince Williams or GG there at the 3, Santi, and then Horse. We could be looking at our man, the big Aussie himself. It could be Jock Lendale season.
Yes! Give me some Jock time.
Yeah. Hey, that's a late round flyer right there for a month. That is for bloody certain.
Absolutely. And you know what? Usually the last 1 or 2 picks that you're taking in a draft, you're usually recycling those players via the waivers anyway to try and benefit your team the best you can for multi-game weeks, or to try and outclass your opponent in games played for the week. Why not take a flyer and see how he goes for the first couple of weeks?
I think it's a great call. I mean, look, when you're looking at the team as a whole, like he's out of those guys that you mentioned before that are injured, he's the only guy that cracks 7 foot. PJ Hall's definitely not ready yet.
Nope.
I mean, it'd be a massive surprise if he came out. Lovering, no way. But yeah, Jock's probably the guy for it. And then they're just going to have to make do, I suppose, until they get these guys back. KCP there as well. So, you know, he would hope he'd be getting some run, being that veteran presence there. So, yeah, a lot to still be found out about this Memphis Grizzlies squad. It's one of those ones, and the Celtics are the ones where it's like so much up in the air about who will be the actual rotation, because there can be players that can work with it. So, yeah, preseason is going to be a huge watch.
Yeah, 100%, mate. It's preseason starts Friday here in Australia for those that do follow the NBA as closely as what we do. So let's get around it and see how the Memphis Grizzlies plan on using their rotation, especially early on. Now, number 3, mate, on our list is someone who was also quite high in fantasy basketball last year, top 10, and I reckon he was going at 5 or 6 in drafts early last year. And that's Tyrese Haliburton. So given that I said that Tatum was probably the highest ranking fantasy player last year, I reckon Hallie has probably got him there. But we're talking about a guy last year, 18.6 points, 9.2 assists, almost 4 rebounds, nearly 48% from the field, 85 from the line. Jeez, it's a big gap to fill for the Indiana Pacers, isn't it?
Yeah, bloody oath it is. And we know that the offense is so revolving around him and his up-tempo pace and how he's able to do it. And then when they don't have that kind of shot, he's able to play in the half court and really make it work and all synergize. I'm fairly confident, Horse, that the starting lineup for the Pacers will be Nembhard, Benedict Mathurin, Aaron Nesmith, Pascal Siakam, and then Jay Huff. I am fairly confident in saying that will be the starting lineup. Huff and Nembhard, I feel like, are going to be really good for fantasy this season as well.
For sure.
Will the absence of Tyrese Haliburton hurt Pascal and the other guys? I think so. Pacers were the best pace team in the NBA last season. I think that's going to come down a bit because it is quite tied to Tyrese. Yes, it'll be still up, but Nembhard is not going to be able to be as aggressive as he was on defense last year and then also run the point the whole game. It's just not how it's going to work. and no one else on that team, bar Siakam, who has slight playmaking ability. Neesmith and Benedict Mathurin certainly don't. They can generate their own shot. TJ McConnell definitely can. So when he comes on, it'll be that push pace again. But we're going to have to see how a Indiana-led offense of Andrew Nembhard is going to be able to either bolster or hurt the rest of the guys.
I've actually got some stats here, not wins and losses, but when we're talking the individual, mate.
Please.
With and without Haliburton. And it may surprise some people. So people know that I am quite, or people that follow Ball Logic know that I'm quite high on Andrew Nembhard. And I've been looking for some stats to whether to negate my argument or to support my argument. Minutes-wise, with Hallie, 25 minutes a night for Nembhard. Mm-hmm. Without him, he plays 34 minutes a night.
Correct.
Points, 8.5 with Hallie. 15 without him. Assists, 3.8 with Hallie, 6.5 without. Rebounds, 2.3 with Hallie, 3 rebounds a game without.
Okay.
Field goal percentage goes up as well without versus with. 48% with Hallie, 50 without. 3-point percentage goes up, albeit just by a small margin, 37 versus 38%. And more importantly, the usage rate goes up. 16% when he's playing with Haliburton, 21% when he plays without him. So I'm looking at some pretty major statistical categories there when you're talking for fantasy anyway, points, assists, rebounds, and field goal percentages, all in the green without Hallie. But also minutes are up, he's keeping his percentages high, and the usage rate goes up.
Yeah.
So they're all massive ticks, aren't they?
Yeah, they are absolutely for Nembhard, and I've got no worries about him bumping up his fantasy. I'm just more worried about the rest of them and how they're all going to intertwine with Nembhard being the lead ball handler there. So maybe we'll see a bit more point Siakam at times, or maybe we'll just see this just complete paces overhaul where they're just going to swing it around wherever the hell they want, and it doesn't matter if it's from Tyrese. We know that they were a very ball movie heavy team either way, but now it always finished around Haliburton, or he was able to push in the in the full court. And I'm a bit more worried about their half court and how they're going to generate from that. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the numbers are not as good half court offense without Hallie, which is quite concerning considering they got to do it for the whole season.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, mate. Number 4 of our 5 that we want to talk about, and it's a young lad who was rocketing up draft boards to start the season, but unfortunately a foot injury has derailed him. He's had some foot surgery. He has come out recently and said he should be ready between weeks 5 and 9 of our NBA fantasy season, and that's Tyler Herro of the Miami Heat. Squid, you are all over this guy like a bad rash. 23.9 points per game last year, 5.5 assists, 47% from the field, 88% from the line. Perhaps his best statistical year and percentage-wise year to date was really starting to come on. What happens now with the Miami Heat with Tyler Herro being sidelined for at least 5 to 6 weeks to start the year?
Yeah, 5 to 6 weeks is a bit of a pain in the ass, but I think Herro will be able to bounce back when he does get back. It's a bit of a tough one as well because we obviously saw how the Miami Heat really kind of went down after the Jimmy Butler trade. So how they're going to roll out their starting lineup, I am going to say that Davion Mitchell will be the starting point guard, and then they were going to – I still maintain that they were going to have Norm Powell come off the bench. He wasn't signed as a free agent. He was in a trade. So I think that there's no, hey, come here and be the starter. No. I think they're going to do what's best for them, and they know that he can be the perfect sixth man, and that's what Norm Powell is. So I think Powell will start in place of Herro to start with. Then we'll see Wiggins and, Khalil Ware or Jovic or something along these lines as the starter, and then obviously Bam. And then they've just signed Prentice Achiuwa as well. So that does throw another caveat of the name in the power forward rank. But I think Davion's kind of the guy just because he is that ball hounding player on defense that we have seen a lot of. So I anticipate to be him. Now, is he up for the task as being a lead point guard? I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like he's going to be able to do enough to garner himself a late round fly. But do you give any love to Yakachonis as being a rookie point guard stepping straight in opening night?
No. I think if it's not Davion Mitchell, I actually like Jovic. The bigger 6'10", can do a little bit of everything, but not great at a lot of things. Is it just that stopgap that they use until Herro's back?
So are you more thinking that it's so what do you think that they'll run Norm Powell at point or something like that and just run like a bit of a ball heavy kind of ball ISO kind of lineup rather than leading traditional point guard, or are you envisioning Powell still staying off the bench and then they go like what Davion, Wiggins, Jovic, Adebayo and Achua or something like that?
Yeah, I reckon they go Ware and Adebayo.
Okay.
Which I don't like, but that tends to be the way that the Heat organisation were looking at towards the back end of last year.
Yep.
Wiggins, Powell, Davion Mitchell, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jovic starts as well.
Okay.
Mitchell showed a bit the back end of last year, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, he did. And he was fantastic against the Hawks as well. Really hitting some clutch shots and locking down Trey really, really well. So, yeah, I think his defense is absolutely phenomenal. The way that he does it. But yeah, the offense, he shot the three a lot better as well at the end of last season. But yeah, for the whole season was still what we had expected. But if he gets that 100%. Up, hey, it does open it up quite nicely.
For sure, mate. Our last play that we're going to talk about is someone that he has been recently seen on the court, but given that he's coming back from a nasty injury himself, I'd be quite conservative with the way we approach this season. And we're talking about Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie, 50 games played last year, almost 25 points per game, almost 5 boards, almost 5 assists as well, shooting at 47% from the field, 40 from 3, 92% from the line. Quite good in all major statistical categories when we're talking 9-cat basketball. Squid, this guy, Uncle Drew, as we know him as, he can be a difference maker in leagues, can't he? But to start the season, there's no Irving. So where do the Dallas Mavericks go to?
It's really tough, isn't it? Because there's so many different reports on when Kyrie reckons he's going to be back and where Dallas think he's going to be back. Like I've seen like early as Christmas and I'm like, whoa, okay. Like, righto, we're going to start really trying to ramp this up. And that kind of makes it a bit of a spanner in the works. Because if you overdrive Kyrie and he then, let's say he does a Memphis Grizzlies where he's meant to come back at a certain time and then he comes back a month after, you're like, well, shit, I've really blown that one. But yeah, Kyrie is obviously a fantastic fantasy player. He's going to be great. I don't think he's going to lose a step or anything like that. It's just going to be normal Kyrie, especially when you're looking at, you're looking on court, you got Kyrie to deal with, and then you got Cooper Flagg, Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, and the newly cemented 7'3" Derek Lively, apparently. So, yeah. And then this roster is deep, horse. Like they've still got Dan Gafford, they've still got Dante Exum, they've still got D'Angelo Russell, they've still got whoever the hell, Najee Marshall, Caleb Martin, Dwight. Like there's players for days here, horse. PJ Washington as well. So yeah,
are these guys perhaps one of the deepest teams in the NBA?
Hell, they almost go 11 deep. Like they could go 2 starting lineups on it, really. And it's probably still be better than the Hornets. So there's there's that. But I'm going to anticipate, look, I think it's pretty cut and dry that D'Angelo Russell was brought in to be the substitute for Kyrie. We knew that was going to happen. So D'Lo will probably start. Don't be surprised though if Dante Exum gets a lot of run as well as being the lead guard when D'Lo's having an off night, which we know he's very, very prone to. I'm sure Lakers fans can attest to that. So I reckon Dante will definitely be able to get some run as well. I think Jaden Hardy's a bit of a pipe dream now. I think he's just kind of, a little bit too far back in the rotation now.
Yeah,
but
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that they can do, and it's not because of the fact that Kyrie is injured. It's just the fact that they are so deep, and Jason Kidd will figure out what to do with this team throughout the regular season. We've seen it so many times before that Kidd is not afraid to mix up lineups and try something new in the regular season because he wants to get it right for the playoffs. So don't be surprised if you see a little bit of Dante Exum. Don't be pissed off if you draft D'Lo around, 110 or whatnot, and then 2 weeks later he's been coming off the bench or his minutes have been cut, and you're just like, what the hell's going on here? Can happen.
Because when you're talking Dallas, they could go Exum. You're right. They've got Flagg, they've got Davis, they've got plenty of options when you're talking offensive firepower there.
Yeah.
That they could go defense first at point guard, couldn't they? So
100%.
just be very cautious with what you're doing with the Dallas Mavericks and in your draft board. Yes, they've got a fairly nice run to start the year, but you're right. If you're drafting D'Angelo Russell, just be prepared that, especially once Kyrie comes in, if he's playing his 26, 28 minutes a night, he's down to his 18 to 20 minutes a night. Kyrie is the man that's running the show there in Dallas.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to wind him up. They're going to get him ready for the playoffs. D'Lo might see games where he gets a little bit of extra minutes bump. I don't care. That does not matter. Being the fifth option. And then also too, God, it's hard, Horse. Like, who do you draft first out of Lively and Gafford? Because like they might minute split, but then also Anthony Davis might play center because they can run PJ Washington behind him as well. They could even run Cooper Flagg if they wanted to. Like, oh my God, it's so tough with how many players that they have.
There's only so much ball to go around to everyone, which is why I say be careful with where you go with the Dallas Mavericks this year, because there's going to be a lot of job share going on there, not just at the point guard, but right throughout the side.
110%. We'll go a quick little caveat as well that Bradley Beal has been reported today as well that he has a injured knee, and he's, what did they say exactly? The exact quote was his training camp will be altered or something like that. So that's never a good sign for someone going into a knee, going in there for the Clippers. So just be careful about what you're going to do with Bradley Beal.
Boogie season.
Bogey.
That guy.
I was about to say, DeMarcus Cousins retired ages ago.
No, I'm thinking in my head, it's not fucking Boogie. It's Bogey. That's all right.
Yep, Bogey season, baby.
And there you go, Horses messed up another name. So that's what you get here at Ball Logic, ladies and gentlemen. Our 5 that we have run through is Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the shit show that's going on there at the 5 spot. Jackson, Edie, Clark, all out. Is it Jock Landale season? Who knows? Tyrese Haliburton, Andrew Nemhard season, says Horse. Tyler Herro, do they lead into Davion Mitchell, or which way do they go? And Kyrie Irving rounds out our top 5. Squid, for those that want to chat all things NBA and whatnot with you, where can they find you, my man?
SA Squiddy, just down there, Horsey boy. I'll try my best to always chew the fat and talk some shit with whoever wants to talk it. If not, if you're in the Patreon or the WhatsApp, whatever, no worries. Squid will be there to help you out.
Legend. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us for today. Stay tuned. We've got plenty more to come. Preseason starts later this week. That's right. NBA is back. Let's get around it. We'll catch you soon, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on.
Peace.